without further ado, let us talk to one of the best fighters on the planet, the current reigning defending UFC strawweight champion, the one and only Thug Rose, Namajunas. She's back. What's up, Rose? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was trying to remember the first time you ever, we're back doing this show here, and I was trying to remember the first time you were ever on the show, kind of in the background as an amateur with the long hair. I don't remember. You probably don't as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lifetime ago. Yes.
Yeah.
A lifetime ago, but it's always great to have you on. By the way, off the top, I just wanted to ask you, a lot of people lately, and I didn't want to run with this out of respect for you, so I want to get your blessing or not. A lot of people, I don't know if you know this, have been referring to me as Thug Nose. And this is, of course, paying homage to you. Am I allowed to run with this, Rose, or would you rather me stand back?
Of course. That's what I'm calling you every time now.
I mean, it's a pretty damn good nickname, if you ask me, right? I mean, Thug Nose, pretty damn good.
Yes.
Okay, so I have your blessing.
Of course, yeah.
All right, cool. Thug Rose meets Thug Nose here on the MMA Hour.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you. Can I ask you off the bat, it seemed to me like you were interested. I remember the last time we spoke after the win in April, you were interested in running it back with Carla Esparza. You end up with Zhang right away, immediate rematch. Were you surprised when they ended up with Zhang as your next opponent and not Carla?
Originally I was, just because of how, impressive Carla looked. But, I think when I step out of like my shoes and into the UFC shoes, I guess that's what makes more sense to them. And then when I really think about it, Weili is still the most dangerous opponent I could face. But in all actuality, at the end of the day, I don't really feel like it matters who I fight, because opponents can change. All that matters to me is just being ready for a fight November 6th.
So you don't have an emotional investment, Carla, there's a backstory there, of course. The first strawweight fight here,
of course, would I want to get that one back? Of course. You know what I mean? Like that's originally, like, I was kind of stuck on that at first, but I kind of had to like step outside myself and be like, well, what if I, I got to be ready for whoever, you know what I mean? And Weili is more dangerous in my opinion. So if I really want to challenge myself, that's the challenge that's going to get me up just a little bit more. But I mean, I want to fight Carla eventually? Yes. As long as she keeps winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if something else doesn't happen, but I would for sure want to fight her.
Is there a part of you, just curious, that sort of feels bad for Carla in the sense that maybe if she was a little more flashy, getting knockout when she'd get this spot? You know how it is in this sport, right? It's not necessarily the person who deserves it who gets it.
Yeah, I do. I kind of do feel for her. She's been dominant for a while now, and then she had a really impressive performance this last time, and she's been patient and whatnot. But there's also other really like great top contenders currently. Like obviously Marina Rodriguez looked really good too. I don't know, but Carla beat her, so it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, I do feel bad for her, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like that's the fight that like fighters always have this, like we have the fight and then we have like the outside fight and that's her journey. And, I've had my little challenges and bumps in the road. And I think she's a champ, she has a champion mindset, and I have no doubt that she's going to figure it out.
Do they, like in this case, because you are the champion, did they ask you who you prefer, or was it just, this is the direction we want to go?
Let me see if I can remember. Yeah, no, I think they just offered Weili.
Okay.
6, yeah.
Why do you think that she's tougher than Carla? Is it because of her striking?
No, I don't think she's tougher or not tougher. If anything, Carla's like super tough. I think that Weili just has more dangerous tools. I mean, you've seen the damage. Now take it, obviously, like Carla in her last fight, with whatchamacallit, she had them nasty elbows, and you could tell she was getting better. But Weili, I think, has more dangerous tools. So I have to be on top of my game, no matter who I'm fighting. You know what I mean? Anybody can hurt you, but I think just based on Weili's resume and what she's done to her opponents, that's more. It keeps me on my toes.
What do you think of Zhang Weili shaving her head? Not quite as short as yours, but she drastically changed her look. She moved her camp to Arizona. She's training now with Henry Cejudo and the team over there. When you heard about all of this and saw all of this, what did you think?
I think that, she's got for sure cutting your hair is the move for any female fighter, any fighter for that matter. Like, hair does get in the way. So, her doing that, I'm sure she's seen a benefit. And I think she used to, have short hair her whole life, as a kid. But I think just from my understanding, she grew it out. And then now she kind of realized that she wants to go back to how it used to be. As far as her training camp and, training with Henry Cejudo, I think she can pick up a few things, and, I think it's probably better than what she's been doing. So I'm just expecting a better version of her and, maybe a little more well-rounded and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's all about my preparation and, obviously, like, I wanted to fight Carla, so if she's going to wrestle a little more, then great. Let me test that out too. So, I'm ready for all of it.
Are you expecting her to try to make this more of a wrestling match, to try to close the distance and try to, grapple with you, clinch with you? I mean, the last fight didn't last very long, but are you expecting a different approach from her?
I think the closer she is, well, I shouldn't say that. I think in her mind, she was losing on the outside, so let me make it close. I mean, that's probably what she's thinking. But, she hasn't even felt how strong I am or what these feel like. So, you know what I mean? So it's worth a shot, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not an easy fight nowhere.
Speaking of which, I saw Pat posted something on Instagram of your arms, asking, when your arms got bigger than his. You got massive missiles now for arms. I mean, I remember when you were just kind of like, the very tall. What happened? How did this happen?
I'm 29 years old.
Man, that is
a baby anymore. No, I just, gardening and, like carrying buckets, and everybody want to do these, have these strength and conditioning coaches, but go dig a hole and move some rocks and carry some farmer carry buckets. You know what I mean? Like, that'll get you in shape.
How is the garden looking these days?
Well, so the community garden's a little closed down right now. We're just kind of moving some stuff indoors and preparing for like the next step. I'm helping a friend with some land and we're planting some trees and stuff like that. So there's I feel like we're in a transition right now, and it's pretty cool because I've been wanting to plant some trees for the longest time. So I'm learning about that.
Why did it close down, by the way? Because of the weather or because of COVID?
Oh, no. It's been open through COVID, but the October 30th is when the season is over with. But it's pretty much done for me, because I'm in training camp. So I just kind of been slowly closing things down a little bit at a time.
Okay.
But it's the weather.
You're fighting on this card again with Kamaru Usman. Trevor Whitman, your head coach, who's in the running for Coach of the Year, once again has not only you and Kamaru, but also Justin Gaethje on the card. Is it a different kind of vibe when all, three of the biggest names in the sport are all competing on the same card at the gym? Is it different when all of you guys are peaking at the same time? What's it like as opposed to when it's just you fighting on the card, or Kamaru or Justin? I know Kamaru's a little new to the team, but you get the point.
So it's kind of similar in a sense, as far as what the training is at Onyx, just because for the last two fights, me and Kamaru have been, on the same cards. And then Gaethje comes in a little bit later. So it's kind of the same as far as the training is concerned. And the vibes are getting ready for a fight, man. But as far as every training camp's just a little bit different, situations, context of things. There's always a little bit of a different sentiment, but I think the process is always the same. You go through your ups and your downs, your good days, your bad days, but today I'm feeling really in shape and really ready. So yeah.
We've obviously talked a lot in the past about your first run as champion. Your second run has now lasted around, 6 or so months since you last won the title. Could you say that there is a difference this time around about how you feel about the belt, about being champion? You haven't defended it yet, but is there a different feeling in terms of your relationship towards the title and just the idea of you as champion this time around?
I do. Not like super drastically different, but my life is just so much. I'm filled with so many more blessings, and being able to recognize my blessings. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I still have days where I'm like, feeling sorry for myself and whatnot. but but I definitely know. I think I just have a better sense of like what it is that I'm doing with the belt. You know what I mean? Instead of just like, okay, I'm just gonna have some fights and win as much as I can. Like I have like a direct vision of like each step of the way what it is that I want to do, and I don't know. It's hard to really put it into words, but I do feel more comfortable with it. I feel like before it was like, okay, I got this thing, but you know what I mean? I know I'm good, but I didn't really know. I really have nothing but proof that I'm awesome and really good at this.
Would it be fair to say you just have more self-confidence now? A little more
There you
mature?
go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah,
first
more
time around it happened, relatively young, very soon, very early in your career. Now you're like, yeah, I am the shit. I know I'm the best. And this is just, a symbol that represents that.
For sure. Yeah. I think that's, I'm more confident in what I've done and what I can do. And yeah.
Is it also that the belt, the first time around was just kind of this thing that, oh yeah, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to get this money, but now you kind of view it as perhaps its own stepping stone to get stories out that you want to get out, talk about things that you want to get out. Like you can almost use the belt to your advantage as opposed to letting the belt use you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I definitely felt like that. I felt like the first time I felt like it was a shackle and chain. I was like, I had to fight, you know what I mean? As opposed to like, this is what's like motivating me. This is what I want to do, and all the possibilities that come with it. You know what I mean? Obviously, just the fighting lifestyle, I think, you know, makes your expands your horizons and your opportunities like tenfold as far as like what you can do with your time and opportunities and things like that. But I think the belt sometimes you like as you're chasing the belt and you're approaching it, you don't really consider all of the pressure and things and all the extra responsibilities that come with it. But then you also learn how to say no. Sometimes you learn how to like prioritize your time and just make sure you're focused on just making sure you prioritize your training. So but I think sometimes you don't like you feel like once you get it, you've made it or something. You know what I mean? It's like, no, definitely, it's just like, it's just another step up on the ladder,
I wanted to ask you about something you just mentioned about, you have some days where you feel bad, you feel sorry for yourself. I am very, very interested in mental health. I've talked a lot about it this year. I've been a lot more open about my own issues with it and my anxiety and things of that nature. And you have been open about it in the past as well. But you're somewhat superhuman. You're this big, strong fighter who knocks people out in incredible ways. I can't do that. What could you tell us, like, what gets you down now? What makes you feel sorry for yourself? And how do you overcome that?
It's a good question. I think just, not realizing what it is that like every day is a gift, every day is a blessing, just not like counting your blessings. And even though you're like, it's so weird because when you do get in that zone, I think, I think it's like fear and anxiety and sometimes depression. Like, I think I notice the patterns that I go through, and it's like, I'll be fearing something in the future and I'll get anxious and then I'll worry about it. And then, do all this worrying and stuff. And then I'll get myself so tired that I'll get depressed. because I'm so tired that like I just sat there worrying about it and didn't do anything about it. And then I'll get sad on myself. And then I'll be like, I got to do something. And I'll get anxious again. So obviously, I think it's just like, just identifying what your fears are and then figuring out what it is that you can do about it and then pray about it and then do something about it. And then, if you're having trouble doing something about it, obviously there's, that's what your support system's there for and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I go through.
Man, and I'm not trying to make this about myself, I promise, but I relate to this incredibly because that is someone told me recently, my problem is I worry about things that happen or are going to happen in 2 weeks. Live for today, not for in 2 weeks. And these things make me exhausted because nothing's going to happen between now and 2 weeks. I'm just sitting here worrying and it's giving me all kinds of anxiety. So I know exactly what you're talking about. There's no sense. I just don't know how to stop worrying about what is coming in 2 weeks. How do you live for today, for right now, for 2:00,
Yeah, I think a good way to do that is like, identifying what it is that you're like, specifically what it is that you're afraid of. Cause sometimes you think, and then sometimes you really think about it and you're like, it's really something else or it's a little more specific. But I think like just, and then what drives me nuts is like, people don't really understand positive affirmations. They're like, oh, if I just like say I'm the best, then I'm the best. It's like, no, like, there's like steps that go build up to I'm the best. I'm the best. Like you got to say like, well, what it is that you need to do to be the best, and then it's like, well, daily, maybe your positive affirmation starts out with, I'm working on my conditioning daily, and then you say that every day. And as you're doing that, then you can be like, I'm conditioned as fuck, or whatever. I don't know. Like, and then eventually you're like, I'm conditioned, I'm composed, I'm content, I'm a champion, I'm the best, But I think just knowing that happiness is a multitude of decisions that are made daily. And I think it's like a pyramid. It's not just like a light switch that you flick on. It's like you have to build a foundation of happiness,
I love that. Did you see that there was a women's soccer team, I believe it was Chelsea, where the manager, after they won a big match, said that she played the clip of you in the cage saying, I'm the best. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. Cause it's cool because after the fight, they reached out to me actually. And then I sent them a little video and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And they won. That was cool.
That's amazing. Oh, so you sent them a personalized video.
Yeah, I think they reached out to like the UFC and the UFC asked me if I wanted to say something to them or,
wow.
I can't remember if like what order of events that happened in, but yeah, it was, yeah. And then I remember them like kind of saying a little speech and then they ended up winning.
Will you do that this time around in the cage before the fight?
What's that?
I
think so. Yeah, I did it. What's funny about that is that like people don't realize I did that actually facing Andrade in the rematch. Like I was saying I'm the best, but I was like kind of more backstage and then like as I was walking out. But yeah, for some reason, I think it got more spotlighted this last time.
Andrade recently won, and she said she wants to go back to 115 and fight either you or Zhang. Does that interest you if all goes well on the 6th of November?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's interesting. Definitely got my work cut out for me in front of me. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, though.
I did want to ask you about something and not trying to make a whole big deal about this, but I did have Zhang on my show recently. And, I asked her about the comments that, created a lot of buzz and stir before the fight that you made. And she said that she felt like you were trying to get the people against her, that you were trying to make her into the enemy here. I'm wondering if you saw her comments and what you thought of her response. That was the first time I had a chance to talk to her about anything. I didn't get to talk to her before the fight, so that's why I brought it up. Did you see her response and what did you make of it?
She can think what she wants to think, I don't fault her for that. A lot of what I do seems like it's so genius and and it's like, I'm just being myself. You know what I mean? I am a genius at what I do, but it's because I'm truly just being honest and being myself. So, I think you go in there with a game plan and you have a plan and stuff, but it's a fight, like I don't sit around, planning each and every step of the way. So whatever I said in my interview is what I said because that's how I truly felt at that moment in time. And whatever else came from that, I was worried I was going to get booed because of all the terrible press and media that I got. So, you know what I mean? I don't, she wants to think that she can think that, but she doesn't have to.
How do you feel about her now? Like, do you feel like there's animosity between you guys, or is she, like you said, is she just an opponent? That's it.
She's just an opponent, I don't know what to think of her, she said she wanted to be friends. So, I'm still waiting for a proper introduction, like, hello, how's it going? But obviously, I kicked her in the face, so she doesn't want to be friends no more. So I don't know.
Oh my.
I think I have nothing but respect for her. I think I'm really grateful for her as an opponent. She gets me up in the morning. So, I think just her, I even have a lot of respect for her for even taking this rematch and trying to face me again. And I know that she's going to come out with lots of fury and fiery, motivation. So I appreciate that. And, maybe we can still be friends one day. Who knows?
By the way, speaking of the rematch, you know about this. There's a crazy stat out there. I don't have it in front of me, but historically in the UFC, when a champion loses their title and they do the immediate rematch, that person who lost the belt in the first fight loses the second fight. This happened with you and Joanna too, right? They do the immediate rematch, and that person, Joanna in that case, loses the rematch as well. I feel like, and I was talking about this recently with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Sometimes when a champion, and what the hell do I know? This is just my stupid theory. You don't have to listen to me, but like a champion loses the belt, maybe it's good to get their mojo back, their confidence. They get a fight against someone else, build it back up, and then you try to avenge the loss. Like I said, historically, it doesn't work out well for that person who in this case is Zhang. Do you see what I'm saying? And do you agree with that?
I think as long as, I think when you lose a fight, you really have to get down to the root of the issue of what happened. Sometimes things just happen, you know what I mean? And then there's other times where it's like, most of the time is because, you messed up somewhere along the way. So, I mean, you gotta, whatever it is, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know where her mind is at. So, even if, you can correct those mistakes, it's still a fight. Anything can happen. So I don't know. I mean, to me, like, I can only speak from my experience. When I lost the belt against Andrade, like, I couldn't even think about the belt until I went in and faced her again and corrected my mistakes. So, but like I said, she lost to me and I'm still the champion. So, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was her. I mean, she's a warrior, man. She's, I think, I don't know. I'm not her, so I can't really say what it is that I would do differently or anything like that. I just know that I'm the best.
People talk about Max Holloway. They talk about Conor, best boxers in the UFC. I would put your boxing, your pure boxing, up there with all of them. It is an absolute joy, really. I'm not just saying it. I've said it before, not just saying it because you're here, to watch your head movement, your foot movement, your jab, beautiful things that we don't often see from MMA fighters. And we've seen lately, older guys, yes, but we've seen some MMA fighters try their hand at boxing, most not having success. Anderson Silva, though, having a lot of success. Is this something you'd like to try, pure boxing, at some point before you stop fighting?
I love boxing. I definitely, if the money was there, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. We could try it out. But I love MMA though. I'm so in love with grappling, with wrestling, the clinch and kicking and all of it, mixing it up together. So I feel like if I were to do boxing, that would have to be like probably a money move, I would say.
Okay.
But I love MMA.
Okay, so it's not really something that you're like, oh, I'd love to do a pure boxing match. It's more of an MMA. MMA is more your bag.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, I definitely, man, that Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight was like off the charts, was amazing and super excited. But I can't say that like the amount of like other than that fight and then maybe like some other boxing fights, I truly get way more excited off of just any person fighting in MMA than watching boxing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so but doing it, I guess maybe it's a different story, but like I'm definitely in so much more in love with MMA.
Okay. Two last quick things. Going back to MSG, the site of a great moment in your career, does that mean anything to you? Like, do you like the idea of going back to this place, or irrelevant?
Yeah, I love New York. I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely not an easy place to be. You know, sometimes it's pretty chaotic at moments, but I really do appreciate New York. I feel like every time I leave there, I'm like a little bit better of a person, or just like a little tougher. You know what I mean? But and I know it's gonna be amazing. I know I have so many fans there, and it's just it's an amazing city. And what can I say? I had success there, so I only can appreciate New York.
And finally, what are we feeling? What are we visualizing? I mean, it's kind of hard to top the last performance. Like I said, one of the best knockouts of the year. But what are you thinking? What are we sensing? First round, what do we got?
Always, my game plan is always punch them in the face, take their back, and choke them out. So that is my game plan. You know, obviously it's going to be. I've been working on some new things. I've been always adding new skills to my arsenal, and just I'm really strong, really fast right now. So I can see it manifesting in a couple different ways. But I see that punch her in the face, take her back, and choke her out.
Can't wait. Always an honor to have you on, Rose. Thank you for the time. I know you don't do a lot of these before the fight, so I really, really appreciate it. Good luck to you. A couple of weeks away, Madison Square Garden, and cannot wait for the fight. So again, thank you so much for the time, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you, Thug Nose.
Thug Nose, let's go. I'll send you a t-shirt, all right? Someone wants to make a t-shirt, Thug Nose, and I'll send it to you, okay, on the house. I'm trying to get the Ruka t-shirt of yours with the face. That's an incredible show, but I've gone to the stiff arm from them a couple times. I said, I'll pay for it. They're like, no, we don't have it. Anyway, I'll send you a Thug Nose shirt, all right?
Okay, I'll be waiting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There she is, Rose Namajunas, the reigning defending UFC strawweight champion. Thug Nose meets Thug Rose.